does a really good job with slow-mo. I love the way the slow-mo works. And I wanted to ask you, in your daily life, if you could put one thing in slow motion, what would it be? What is the one thing you want to do in slow motion?
I've got lots of things flashing through my head.
I plead the fifth. I would like to drive a car very fast in slow motion.
Yeah, that would be good.
Wouldn't that defeat the
terror
whole
out of it?
object? Oh, the terror.
It's like a right on red. It's like.
No, that would be fun.
What does he do?
Bungee
What's
jumping.
that technique?
Bungee jumping really
in slow
slowly.
motion.
Yeah, that would be good.
Like, I'm thinking, are we not there yet?
That'd be great.
I've got to confess, it is now my dream to be a musketeer. I was wondering, what is the initiation? What do I need to do to be accepted amongst you guys?
Grow a beard first.
You have to get special hairs.
This is like 3 months worth, man.
Grow
This
your
is all I got.
Work on that. Walk around in knee-length boots with a Cuban heel.
On cobbles.
On cobbles.
On cobbles.
Yes.
You've got to learn how to ride a horse.
Yeah.
Very important.
a lot of that,
And
yeah.
wear a doublet with confidence.
And a plum, yeah. And what else?
And lose your accent.
So you're saying is I'm screwed, is what you're saying. You're saying I'm done.
There's work to do. But
Yeah,
it's-
okay.
yeah.
We're at the very low process.
Okay.
Next time you guys see
Never
me,
say never.
okay. When we're back for Three Musketeers Part 2, we'll see what happens. I'll come in, I'll have a full beard,
Yeah.
I'll have an accent.
You'll
Put a
be
hat on you and
inaugurated
a
on the
cape.
spot.
Exactly, see?
Yeah.
See, I like this. I like the brothership we already got going on. We're practically already
And
there.
then you have to go through the sub initiation. There's a different which we can't really talk about. Yeah.
It's
You guys
not
have
bad
got
at
to be
all.
the coolest, uncles and cousins and cousins and sons that you could
No, my
possibly be.
kids aren't really bothered. My kids are sort of. I keep wanting them to be more impressed. Yeah.
You're like,
Kind
"Hey."
of, there was a trailer was on the other day on the TV, and my youngest boy just went, oh, "Is that the one? Oh, fine." And then,
You're like, but
yeah,
She's,
I know.
what about SpongeBob SquarePants?
He wanted to watch Phineas and Ferb instead.
Most Americans have this misbelief that British actors are trained at a young age at swordplay, like, in middle school.
Yes.
So have you been waiting all these years to finally be able to put your sword...
All those Latin classes and sword
Yes,
archery
and exactly.
Archery. Yeah.
Archery.
as well,
I was thinking, I'm never going to use it. At drama school, you learn a bit and you do.
You do learn it.
Well, like but
drama
and then
school,
I've done a few fights and plays, but the point about this is that you learn it from scratch because we were fighting a very particular style.
Yeah.
With a particular type of
It's
sword.
like learning a language. Almost.
Yeah.
You learn
It's
a
an art
language,
form.
of this particular form of fighting. It was very stylized and very much of the period, and also very disciplined. Predominantly because we shot on the Avatar camera on 3D. It was the whole conception was for 3D from the beginning. But you can't lay off, you can't play safe and adjust the camera angle because the camera can kind of see around you. So everything has to be on target. And you have
close.
And so you're actually essentially choreographing these fights to be right on point. And there's many blades and many different fights interwoven between other fights. So that's why the discipline had to be on point, really.
In real life, Logan, was he just a sort of hot-headed...
He made me feel very old. He's lovely, and he's he's what is he now? 20?
He's
No,
19
Yeah, he's
now.
19. He's actually the exact age. He's the right age for D'Artagnan, which hasn't always been the case in previous versions.
In the book, he's
18.
D'Artagnan's 18.
Yeah.
So
Never been played by an 18-year-old.
First time he's ever been played by an 18-year-old.
You guys got to shoot this in Bavaria in these amazing castles that no one has really seen on screen before. Can you talk about what that was like and, not making sure you didn't break anything?
Oh, we were told. We had to be very careful. We were ushered in cotton
chaperoned
wool
in
and
certain areas.
ushered back out. And if we
I got
leant on
caught
anything,
putting my tag on one of them.
yeah, putting a moustache on one of the bus.
Yeah. It's a real treat. We had these extraordinary, beautiful locations. So you don't use your imagination because you're just in these wonderful environments.
Very special.
In real life, as well as your characters, you've been around the world. You're maybe weathered by the world, jaded and cynical. Young Logan Lerman comes in, and he's this fresh voice. Did he kind of maybe reignite the flame of acting and life?
Little flicker of our youth.
We tried our best to kind of extinguish any youthful exuberance he had.
It was,
So he's-
Right.
I'm trying to make him as bitter as possible. It's a robust enough book to be able to say, well, let's make it let's have fun with it.
It is an iconic thing. Did you guys all read this book in school?
Yeah, I read it in the past and I got partially through it, if I'm honest. There was no pictures. I'm not a big reader.
The Musketeers are played by 3 former stage actors who've done their share of period pieces, but that didn't make it any easier to maneuver in the 17th century costumes, especially the high-heeled boots.
Because I actually have difficulty walking in heels, that's no joke. These are tough for me today, so what is the trick to walking
There
on?
isn't. We didn't find it.
Yeah.
No,
Ray
almost broke his knee.
Operation. Yeah.
Are you serious? What happened?
I blew my meniscus. Basically, we're doing a big pirouette with a sword, being very manly and butch and everything, with a heel and cobblestones, and basically spinning on the foot, but the foot stayed still. It caught a cobblestone, stayed still, so my whole body spun on my knee and blew the meniscus. Great sword fights and great sort of daring do, and looking for the higher cause, and it's a great sort of narrative and the risks taken. It's a beautifully contained classical sort of story and a great joke.
And for the Musketeers, if this acting thing doesn't work out, they can fall back on their newly acquired sword fighting skills.
From the day we arrived, we were straight to the training camp, and were taught by the European gold medalist in Duplitz.
So you guys are ready for the Olympics now?
Oh, we are, yeah. We're all
training for 2012. Yeah. Who is that guy? Yeah,
It's Elvis, isn't it?
I love it. The eyebrow. There's only one Orlando.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
You've asked me this one before.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
I've only done karaoke once in Japan, and it was Daniel, Elton John song.
Brilliant.
So I don't have a go-to. I wouldn't go
Did
back
you have
there.
them weeping, Matt?
Hey?
Were they weeping? What?
They were. Some were weeping. Some were weeping just out of just anguish. But yeah, I remember that. It was a long time ago.
Daniel,
my brother.
I just literally finished Thor, and I had excruciating toothache, which actually needed a lot doing to it, so I had to stay an extra week. My agent had been in touch with Paul and Jeremy and said, no, I don't think there's anything in it for Ray. There's nothing in the movie for Ray, but if he's in town, we haven't met him, so we'd love to meet him. Because of this toothache, I went along to meet them, had a laugh with them, didn't ever talk about this, talked about other stuff. They're just finishing Resident Evil. The next day, my agent calls me and he says, I don't know what you said. I said, what? He said, they're offering you Porthos. So it was like that toothache got me a job.
Something about the film that's really striking is the real-world locations you guys got to use. Talk a little bit about filming on those locations, and did you have a favorite of all of them?
My favourite was Ponsfelden. I think there was this beautiful. It was doubling as the Venice safe house where they all meet before she betrays them. But it was just truly beautiful, most beautiful room I think I've ever been in. And they had, it was a summer residence with this German family which they let us use, and there were thousands of shells on the walls and the ceiling.
Grotto from the Baroque period. They used to grottos were big, and it was that glass and everything. It was just you couldn't sort of recreate it. You know what I mean? This was an original.
We felt very honoured to be working on these places, in these places, because they'd never allowed any film set to shoot on them before. We had access to buildings that had been shut away.
Can you give me just a little bit on Hobbit, G.I. Joe 2, and Anna Karenina? I said that right?
All I can say is my beard. It's just, it's a big beard, big Russian beard.
G.I. Joe 2. You're being for a roller coaster ride. Firefly goes to work.
Yeah, and Aramis and the Duke of Buckingham go to the Shire.
Okay, I'll leave it there.
Yeah. There's life beyond the Shire.
There's life beyond the Shire.
And I imagine you guys had a ball doing it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it was fun from the second we started. It was we met. We were sent to boot camp.
Really?
Basically, yeah.
Well, you got your boots.
We got our boots.
Got our boots.
Yeah.
And then had 3 weeks learning to walk in the boots.
For our beautiful leather doublets. And
Now, I imagine just the art of moving in costumes like that, because you are carrying swords. We talked about that, swords last night.
Swords, yeah.
Are they epes? What type?
They are epes. Yeah, they're epes. Are they?
Yeah. Well, ours were. Yours was more of a sword.
Mine was based on a naval, Italian naval schiavare, whatever. So it's a much wider, heavier blade.
But just moving and turning and making that look natural, you had to look like you wore that all your life.
Yeah, it was yours, absolutely.
Right,
it's, I mean, but that's why the costumes designed this way were very much in period, and your movements are. That's why the fighting styles were developed the way they were. The dances of the day were developed the way. had a certain language to them.
Yeah. I also imagine, I mean, you were filming in probably one of the most beautiful areas in the universe. I mean, not just on the planet, probably on the universe. And how the costuming, all of that informs your characters. I mean, you are put into the 17th century.
Yes, we were. That's exactly how it felt, and that's what was so nice about it. Even though we did end up working in Babelsberg Studios at the end for, what was it, 8 weeks or something? 6 weeks. Yeah. Most of the time we were on real locations in palaces.
So it's strange when you know it didn't really feel like an updating to us, because you felt like you were in the world of the Musketeers. So
definitely authentic.
And we last time we were hobnobbing at a big party, but we were talking about that basic plot line of honor, friendship, sacrifice.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's still in this movie in spades.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think as long as it's the spirit of the piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's you sort of stay true to those themes, and the book is rich and robust, and it's a great big pot boiler, and actually I think that's what Paul's done with it. He's sort of just made it visually huge and rich and wonderful,
And the special effects, you could have done it without the special effects. It wouldn't have been so grand.
Sure.
But this movie carries itself, doesn't it?
It does. You never feel that it's overwhelmed by them at all. It's sort of this, like the classical tale is couched within this sort of phenomenal world, and the stakes are high. But you do end up caring about the king. And the Queen and D'Artagnan and the you care about what's going to happen in like the telling of a great yarn.
Yeah, and you guys I mean, you guys are like Ocean's 13. I mean, you guys are plotting things and everything. I mean, it goes back to story. Make it on the page, and then it's going to be in the frames.
That's right.
So, yeah.
And we had a great script to start with, and we just brought it to life, and it was just incredibly fun, the whole thing.
Now the $1 million question is, will there be a Three Musketeers 2?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I think if people love it, then great. And it would be great only because it's so nice working with these two. It was a genuinely happy thing.
We had so much fun. And,
I think there's room. There's always room for a good story.
Yes. And a little swashbuckling, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of
swashbuckling.
Absolutely. Enough with your machine guns. Let's get a big rotating machine gun. The big flamethrower off a ship. Come on.
Who's going to say no to that?
Exactly. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I wish we had an hour. Dang it.
Yeah.
But we don't.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
We didn't have to actually bond. We kind of like... It's almost as if we knew each other already.
Tell me about training for all the action scenes in this movie.
I didn't really train because I was naturally very good.
Yeah.
All the fights have their own personalities, and with the cameras in the set, we ended up having to do, I think 99% of it all.
The accuracy in 3D has to be paramount, because it's you can see when it's not close to somebody's face.
So the Three Musketeers are obviously a tight group, and you guys seem to be pretty tight in real life. How did you go about, what was the bonding experience to get to that point for the movie?
Training together. There's a really lovely beer in Germany called Weissbier, which is
we drank
it's
a bit
great
of that.
glue
helped
for anybody.
It's a bonding technique.
I think genius in the casting, really putting the right people together. And as soon as we met, we realized we're birds of a feather. There's something that links us all, that we recognize in each of us. So we didn't have to actually bond. We kind of it's almost as if we knew each other already.
Yeah.
So then it was just get on and have fun doing this movie.
So last question, Luke, you're working on The Hobbit with Orlando. Can you tell me anything about that?
About The Hobbit? Well, yeah, we've we've been shooting since February. It goes on till next June, so it's the longest job I'll probably ever have on the same thing. But I've got a little break now, but it's great. New Zealand is beautiful, and I get to work with Ollie again, which is nice. We have some work. We haven't shot it yet, but it's really fun, really fun.